Welcome to our daily devotion video from Christ Lutheran Church in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. I'm Pastor Tim Gerbing. Dangers are found all around us, but with Jesus at our side, there is never anything to fear, as we hear in today's devotion from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4, beginning with verse 35. That day, when evening came, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along just as he was in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat, so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. The disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" They were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." The gospel writer Mark makes a small comment in the information that he gives us about Jesus calming the storm that is easily overlooked. It's information that neither Matthew nor Luke gave in their accounts. In verse 36, he writes that there were also other boats with him. It seems that Jesus intended to take a well-deserved break with his disciples from a crowd of people that he'd been teaching by crossing over to the other side of the lake. But as he and his disciples leave, there were some people who decided to get into boats and follow him. It doesn't seem that they were invited by Jesus to do that. I wonder how those people felt when after a little while that furious storm sprung up. We do know how the disciples felt. They were terrified. It isn't a stretch to say that those in the other boats were probably even more afraid. We might say they had no business being there in the first place. And yet the disciples and these other people would learn firsthand that all is well when you sail with Jesus. Now, that does not mean, of course, that there will be no storms in life because you're sailing with Jesus. It may be fair weather when you start out, but storms will and do strike. And don't assume that the sea will be less rowdy around your boat because Jesus is with you. If you go anywhere with Jesus, you must be content to endure what he endures. If the waves are rough on him, they will be rough on you too. We hear of Jesus' power as he's woken from his sleep, he stands up in the boat, and he faces the storm, ordering the wind and the waves to be still. Jesus is the high admiral of the sea. There is nothing to fear when he is with you. When there is sorrow in life, know that when Jesus is with you, there is joy too. When Jesus is determined to reach the shore of his destination, no matter the power of the storm, he always reaches the shore. And those who follow in his wake reach it too. Jesus suffered the worst storm of all, his cross, and he reached his destination, his resurrection. Those who follow him in faith are guaranteed that Jesus is always by their side. No matter the storm, even when the storm is death itself, Jesus will bring us safely through to the destination he won for us, resurrection and life eternal with him. Amen.